have you ever read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley? Because whilst George Orwell's vision was one of control through fear, Huxley's was far more subtle and was ultimately one of control through comfort, through convenience. What if people willingly surrendered their freedom because they were too distracted to notice? Does that sound familiar to you? And I think that's really what Brave New World is about. Published in 1932, Brave New World imagines a society that appears almost perfect. There are no wars, very little crime, everyone seems happy. People are genetically engineered before birth to fulfill predetermined roles in society, removing ambition, uncertainty and conflict before life has even begun. Families no longer exist, children are grown artificially, and the idea of giving birth naturally is considered primitive and even disgusting. Whenever people begin to feel anxious, dissatisfied or emotionally uncomfortable, they simply take a drug called Soma. Instead of confronting suffering, they chemically escape it. And rather than reading, reflecting or questioning the world around them, people immerse themselves in endless entertainment known as the Feelies. Films so immersive they stimulate every sense. Pleasure becomes a substitute for meaning. Relationships become shallow. Constant sexual gratification is encouraged. The pursuit of immediate pleasure keeps people occupied, leaving little room for deeper questions about purpose, truth or freedom. And outside this carefully controlled civilization are those who refuse to live this way. They remain on the savage reservation, preserving older ways of life. To the citizens of the world state, they're viewed as uncivilized and backwards, yet from another perspective, they may be the only people who have retained genuine freedom. Perhaps the most chilling insight came from Huxley himself. He writes, "The victim of mind manipulation doesn't know that he's a victim. To him, the walls of his prison are invisible, and he believes himself to be free. That he is not free is apparent only to other people because his servitude is strictly objective." And that idea sits at the very heart of Brave New World. The most effective form of control isn't one imposed by force, it's one that's accepted voluntarily. So when I first read Brave New World, I didn't see it as a warning about some distant future. I actually saw it as an invitation to look more carefully at the present, because today we are surrounded by constant entertainment, endless news cycles, social media, advertising, sport, politics, and an economy that rarely leaves us with any time to stop and actually reflect about our lives. Many people spend their lives actually moving from one distraction to the next, really, without ever questioning the deeper aspects of life. And whether or not our world resembles Huxley's vision is something each of us have to decide for ourselves. But perhaps his greatest warning wasn't about technology, it was about consciousness, because if we're never still enough to question the assumptions we've inherited, then we may mistake conditioning for freedom. And the first step towards freedom isn't changing the world, it's becoming conscious enough to see it clearly. And ultimately, once enough people do that, perhaps we can begin creating something better, a society actually built on not distraction, fear or manipulation, but on freedom and abundance and genuine democracy. Because every story here is ultimately an invitation. The question really is, are we conscious enough to accept it?